I am definitely in the middle of too many scripts. Oh, hello and welcome. This is the World Builders Library. We're building a character today, a Warlock. Somehow I've been avoiding Warlocks and Sorcerers. Not sure why. My very first character build video was Stanley with an Archfey patron, but not a peep since then. Today we're meeting Toby. He is also 5th level, but his buddy is a fiend. We are going to do the usual, recently usual format. And be advised, there is going to be a follow-up video pretty rapidly following this one. We're going to rename Toby, make him Yorland, and bump him all the way up to 17th level. This is part of a bigger BBEG faction building idea. Not sure how this video is going to evolve exactly, but for today's video, we're going to be pretty normal. Normal for us. Why are we doing all this planning ahead? For my campaign, of course. This Yorland guy, he's a major boss in Dagon's Cabal. He's a vampire that leads the Nogda vampires. You should have seen my players' faces when they realized that Nogda was an anagram for a Lord of the Abyss. So, this all serves many purposes for both my campaign, my general and ongoing D&D education, and of course, more videos. Alright, I better hurry up. It sounds like my laptop is about to explode. Starting ability scores. We're going to go with a strength of 8, a dex of 16, a con of 13, intelligence 12, wisdom 11, charisma 18. We're going to want his charisma to hit 20, and his constitution and wisdom to each get +1s. This is for the biggest deficiencies. Now, do I go L for human or something else? Maybe tiefling? Let's go full Bram Stoker. Human. As for backgrounds go, well, I've been saying for a year that the intended background of Warlocks was Hermit. That's a +1 charisma, +1 con, +1 wisdom. Bam! Now, we also get, for skills, medicine and religion. That latter one works out great as he's the leader of what amounts to a church without clerics. Medicine and his herbalism kit are a route to alchemy in this campaign as well. The feat of healers, not perfect, we'll figure something out later, but no one's life ever goes exactly as planned. Toby probably wasn't even a vampire when he learned it. As a human, he gets a second origin feat, which we will make alert. I want this guy's greater form to live through at least one encounter, and an early initiative keeps him away from the fighters, hopefully. That's some basics. Now, what does it mean to be a warlock? Charisma is your primary ability score. Your hit points are d8s, saving throw proficiencies, wisdom, and charisma. You've got 8 skills to choose from. I was going to say that's really good, but decided to double check. Options for starting skills actually vary quite a bit, some as low as 6, 7 being pretty normal, but some 9s and 10s, and then of course there's the bards. Warlocks also get light armor and simple weapons. They get some basic equipment, including a scholar's pack. There wasn't anything like a warlock back in the days of 3.5 and advanced. For old players getting back into the game, in other words, people like me, Warlocks are the top of the learning curve for really getting 5th edition. Warlocks are wildly popular, so it's best to figure them out. To be honest, I've been kind of putting it off, so this video is education for me, as well as something hopefully useful for you. Before we get into spells, let's talk about patrons for a moment. They can be a big deal, an important NPC to the campaign, or they can be entirely absent. DMs and Warlock players will need to have a conversation about expectations on this matter. Toby's patron, and the patron of all Nogda vampires, is not actually Dagon. He's just their boss. Nogda vampires actually draw their power from another demon lord, Laderna, the blood demon. The whys and wherefores are a very long story that the players have not even begun to figure out yet. Alright, magic, specifically Eldritch invocations. Warlocks start with 1, hang out at 3 for a while, then start steadily climbing until they max out at 10 at 18th level. 1 can be swapped out upon making a Warlock level, and they are not all created equal. Many have level requirements and other prerequisites. They are also the sort of thing that lends to regular expansions, both official and homebrew. Evocations are what make Eldritch Blast Warlocks possible, though other cantrips may now be included. They are things that give Warlocks special familiars. They are magical powers that are not spell-based. Tentatively, we're giving Toby Ascendant Step. This is a must, as it goes to the flavor of his bat swarm. The invocation gives him Levitate. In-game, he's bopping around on a cloud of bats. Eldritch Spear is a classic, drastically increasing the range of the cantrip. Agonizing Blast is another classic, adding to damage to the cliché cantrip. I know these guys like to operate in darkness, so I'm adding Devil's Sight. Finally, we've already decided that Toby is primarily a spellcaster, so we're going to go with Eldritch Mind. Among his coven, there will be other specialists, some melee, some infiltration experts. For the video, we are just concentrating on Toby. His coven is not just warlocks, but all the vampires are warlocks, and that's a lot of Eldritch Blasts. Spells. Warlocks get cantrips. In fact, they are vital to the class concept. They are various damage doers of various types, plus Mage Hand and Prestidigitation. They have a relatively short list compared to other arcane casters, about the same as druids and bards. They get 3 cantrips at 5th level, less than most. As a side note, there's a lot of columns on the Warlock features chart. Make sure you're actually looking at what you think you're looking at. Ugh. Warlocks have very few spell slots. It's one of the reasons that cantrips are stressed. Toby at 5th level only has 2, and they are both 3rd level. But he can have up to 6 prepared spells to choose from. That's not counting subclass stuff. Slots come back on a short rest, which is a big deal, especially if long rests are restricted. You build your prepared list level to level, adding spells when appropriate. Also, each level, you can swap out 1 spell. Now, I want to go a little off script here. I left this out. The way Warlock's spells work make them very campaign dependent. If you are in a campaign where you have multiple fights during a day, multiple encounters between long rests, it makes Warlocks more powerful compared to other spellcasting classes. A wizard that doesn't get a long rest is going to get short on spells really quick. Warlocks, on the other hand, can replenish them pretty regularly, and since their cantrips are boosted and those don't run out, you have more spellcasting time with those, and the invocations, depending upon what you've taken, might be something magical that is consistent for you and not long rest dependent. Now, back to the script. Toby has the cantrips, Prestidigitation, Poison Spray, and Eldritch Blast. His 6 spells are Hex, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Witch Bolt, Darkness, which is a key to Nogda battle tactics, Ray of Enfeeblement, one of my favorites, and Undead Spirit, which I will absolutely crowd a battlefield. At level 2, Warlocks gain Magical Cunning. Once per long rest, you can perform this 1-minute ritual to regain half your spell slots. For Toby, that's going to be 1, and it will continue to be 1 until 11th level. At that point, it's 2, forever. Level 3, you get your subclass. Now we're going to dive into the details later, as usual, but I do want to mention something here. I see players and DMs being able to play this 2 different ways. For a Warlock, magic comes as a gift from their patron. So where does the magic come from before they hit 3rd level? To me, this is pretty simple. Either they already have a patron, they're just not getting 3rd level bonuses from it yet, or they are naturally receptive to pact magic. They're gaining magic through patrons, but not necessarily directly or consciously on the patron's part. Gaining a subclass means making a commitment for both parties. I like the first one, but the second one can work quite well if everybody is on board. And you might even have a case of competing patrons. What about our level 4 feat? We still need a point of charisma, so let's do Shadow Touched. Toby is going to get his charisma point and a free invisibility, plus another first level spell, which we're going to make Ray of Sickness. That makes our ability scores Strength of 8, Dex of 16, Con of 14, Intelligence of 12, Wisdom of 12, Charisma of 20. We're also going to make our final decisions for skill proficiencies. Medicine, Religion from the background, Deception and Intimidation for being a Warlock, and Perception as the extra skill for being human. Moving along with subclass abilities, as mentioned repeatedly, Toby has a Fiend patron, specifically the Demon Lord of Blood and Bad Intentions, Laderna. This particular member of Dagon's Cabal, he hadn't been active for over 200 years, but he's still out there. He does come up occasionally in intel captured from demonic sources. His whereabouts are unknown, but presumably his vampires gain all their warlock and neckbiter powers through his will. At 3rd level, this starts with the Dark One's Blessing. Basically, if enemies are around and they get dropped to 0 hit points, whether you do it or not, you get back some temporary hit points. In battlefield conditions, at mid to higher levels, this can be a lot of health because it is your level plus your charisma bonus. Also at level 3, Toby gets a whack of spells to add to his limited options. Burning Hands, Command, Scorching Ray, Suggestion, Fireball, and Stinky Cloud. The next subclass feature doesn't come until 6th level. Sorry, Toby. Spoilers, it's the Dark One's own luck. A number of times equal to your charisma bonus, you can add a d10 to any ability check or saving throw. You know, some classes have the ability to add so many dice to a contest. I have to imagine that a few epic matches have occurred out there. I add a Bardic. Counter with luck dice. Re-roll with inspiration. Add the Dark One's luck. After much back and forth, the Warlock manages to snatch the last sweet tart from the fighter's hands. This Toby is one of many versions. Even for my usage, this outline represents at least 40 other vampires. They will almost certainly start dying next session. Against my 15th level party, he's basically cannon fodder. However, he is one of many pieces of fodder. So maybe he gets a few good rolls and gets in some viable spell damage. After all, if the party ignores the major demons and the higher level vampires, Toby might get 4 or 5 rounds of action before it's time to run. And it's not like demons and the allies of demons are above running to fight another day, or just to get in some spa time. With his skill set, our Toby has a pretty obvious history that got him to 5th level. No doubt, he served as a regional healthcare specialist. He worked in hospitals, promoting contagion and plagues. He visited small towns that had no healers. He would help a few, but the malady always followed. Certainly, you can play a fiend-following warlock so that they fit into, or at least get along with, a party. Maybe your warlock's boss is so busy back on the home plane that what happens on the prime just doesn't matter anymore. Sure, the power is rooted in vileness, but, well, we all know that evil will fight evil. I'm still really not sure what the follow-up to this video is going to look like. We are absolutely going to explore the mechanics of a higher level Toby, aka Yorlin. But it feels like I'll probably get into a more extended discussion of high-level combat encounters, prepping for high-level stuff. Running a bunch of NPCs trying to deal with a high-level adventuring party out to get them is challenging and it's fun. Going into this, I'm almost definitely looking at a lot of combat over the next several sessions, and I really want to push the party. I'll do my best to keep you updated. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Please leave a like, comment. Tell me about your favorite character class, character type. Myself, I love bards, the party face, promotional expert, the support guy, but with a little punch and lots of things to do beyond just the usual D&D stuff. I hope you all have a wonderful 2026. The world has gone crazy, but we still have this little direct avenue of escape into fantasy. I'm not saying that you should ignore reality. It needs you, but you deserve time to heal for yourself as well. I love you all, each and every one, very, very much. Cheers.